without being pushy or salesy. Because since people started teaching sales, we've been taught 101 different ways of asking for the sale, from not asking at all, from asking way too aggressively, from then starting to sell without being salesy. So we've gone through different iterations of how do we actually sell? How do we ask for the sale in a way that doesn't trigger sales resistance, but also gets the job done? Because the safest way to ensure that we're going to get the sale is lock it in then and there, during the call, during the meeting, or right after the meeting. So let's start by talking about what not to do. Like big no-nos in today's marketplace, in today's ways of people going through sales situations. I have to unmute someone. First of all, assumptive closing techniques. Assumptive closing techniques are things like, when would you like to get started? So I present, I take them through my process, and then I ask, when would you like to get started? Or when I ask, shall I go ahead and process your order? Or another thing which really pisses me off when I hear it, which card would you like to use? All of these are big red flags for the prospect because we're clearly showing them that that's what we care about. Like first of all, it destroys rapport because up to that point, let's say you've asked the right questions, you took them through your presentation, you're showing them that you're a trusted advisor if you're doing things properly. And then you go at the end, you're presenting them with the $5,000, the $3,000, the $10,000 price tag, and you're asking them, oh, which card would you like to use? So it's too upfront, too direct, and it's assuming the sale. This, unless the prospect is 100% in, they're already sold, will not work. Let me be clear. Unless, because you might be thinking to yourself, well, I've used this or I've seen this being used and it works. It works because the prospect is 100% in, and no matter what you tell them, they're gonna close, right? Also, I want you to avoid the urgency clause. So a lot of people include this at the end of the presentation. This offer is only valid until this specific date, or our current promotion ends soon. I recommend taking advantage of it now. Ideally, those phrases, you want to use them during your marketing or when pre-framing the call. It's their own place to use it right at the close when you're asking for the sale, because it might create objections. So when you're asking for the sale, I don't want you to include it in that specific language. You can use it during the presentation, you can use it in the marketing, you can use it when you're pre-framing the call, but it's a big mistake to use it right when you ask for the sale, because it's a holy moment. They're hanging in the balance, and they're about, should I do this or should I not do this? So we have to be very calculated with our words. And the last way that I see this maybe trend nowadays, it's the silence clause. So someone comes in, you present, you say, the investment is 10,000, and then people go silent. Now, is this the most horrible idea ever? If you don't know what to say, it's best to stay silent, right? And let the prospect guide the process. Now, the problem with that is when I'm letting the prospect guide the process, the call starts becoming unpredictable because there are 20 different things they can say after I drop the price and I stay silent. They're no longer being led. During the call, I was leading them with the right questions. I was presenting to them. And at the end, you're handing them the reins of the call, which if we want to sell as leaders, if we want to sell as trusted advisors, it's not the right option. I'm going to give you the exact language. Actually, I'm going to give you 4 different ways to close. And why am I going to give you multiple ways of asking for the close is, first of all, we always want to ask for the sale. It's funny how many times people forget they drop the price right? And the prospect hits them with an objection and they never actually ask for the sale. Like, I cannot tell you how many calls I've reviewed. They do the presentation, the investment is 5,000. Oh, this is too expensive for me. And they start handling objections, but they never ask for the sale. They never outline next steps. Like, what happens next? Are we going to stay here for another 2 hours? Am I going to onboard you? Like, what happens exactly next? So I always want to ask for the sale, and I don't want to ask it once. I don't want to ask it twice. I will ask for the sale at least 3 times. Not everyone is going to like me for saying this, but if you ask for the sale only once, you're an order taker. And there's nothing wrong about it, right? It's perfectly fine if you want to be an order taker and you want to close about 5 to 10% of people that you talk to. You're taking an order. That's perfectly fine. Someone was already pre-sold. You're having a conversation with them and you took the order. Nothing wrong with that. Amateurs ask for the sale twice. They ask for the sale once. They try to do some objection handling and they ask for the sale twice. Professionals ask at least 3 times. Why? Because if you don't ask for the sale more than 2 times, you haven't really tried to handle objections. The first time you ask for the sale and you hear a no or you hear an objection, that's in most cases a triggered response. It's just how the way people have been used to making decisions. People are not, the majority of people aren't used to handing 5,000, 10,000, 3,000, 1,000 to a stranger over a call, right? So it's a trigger response because it's not the usual way of buying things. That's why we always should never stop at asking just once for the sale. Then you're gonna do some objection handling. You can ask twice. If you don't keep objection handling and you're not asking for the sale a 3rd time, the problem with that is you don't really know if you handle the right objection, and you don't really know if the prospect still sees value, because it's really the first time after you handle the initial objection, it's really the first time that the prospect considers and compares the value of what you put in front of them to the price of what you just presented to them. So let's move into the decision stage. This is the final stage of the stealth conversions process. So what you ask them, and this is not a close, this is how we enter the close. I'm going to give you the exact language on how to ask for the sale. But here's what you say. Chris, based on what we discussed, this is right after you do the presentation. Do you feel like this is something that you can do so you can get to the outcome that you want? If you've done a good job and the prospect sees the value, they're going to say yes. Right after that, you're going to ask them why, though. You don't want to let them talk for ages because they're going to hit you an objection and you haven't get them. If you don't ask them why, you haven't gotten them to sell themselves on what you do. So when they say yes, you have to ask them right away, why do you feel it would be the answer for you? So you hear a yes, you ask them why, and then you can do a double confirmation, and you can ask them, okay, so with what I have just gone through, the step-by-step process, the coaching, the accountability, this depends on what you're selling. Is there any way that you can think of that this is not going to work for you? That's your final attempt at trying to surface any objections when it comes to the product. When it comes to, oh, you know what? I don't feel this is the exact right fit for me. So once you hear yes, then we can move them into the actual close. And this is how we do the actual close. It's what I call the social, probably I need to come up with a better name for this, but it's the social proof next steps. Here's what I call it that. And this is what you say. You're saying this. Perfect. So essentially what's needed for you to get to the outcome that you want so you can achieve the emotional outcome, it's 10,000, depending on what you're selling. Most of my clients make that back from their first client and really like the fact that this aspect of the program. Now, typically the next step is we take care of the investment, credit or debit card, and we book your onboarding call with Chris. so we can get you to the outcome. Now, is that appropriate, or where would you like to go from here? Now, why this structure? Let's look at the why behind it. Essentially, I'm tying in the first sentence when I'm saying, so what's needed for you to get to outcome is 10,000. I'm marrying the investment that they have to make with the outcome. So if they invest this amount, they're gonna get to that outcome. I'm tying them together. Then I'm injecting social proof, and I'm saying most of my clients, here you can take different case studies to come up with a statistic that makes sense. But the language that you can use here is most of my clients make the investment back from their first client, or you can say make that investment back within their first 60 days of working with us. And they really like the fact that they have a lot of accountability and coaching. This depends on what the prospect just told you that they like. You're gonna inject it here. What you're gonna do right after that is you want to map out the next steps. A big mistake that I see people make is they drop the investment and they simply say, where would you like to go from here? Again, you're leaving them to decide where they wanna go. The question in their mind might be, well, where should we go? Like, what are the next steps typically? So I want to answer that question before that question comes. That's why I'm going to say, now, typically the next step is we handle the investment, we take credit or debit card, whatever works best for the client, and we book your onboarding call with Chris so we can get you to the outcome that you want. So I'm showing them that there's a process to this. This is something that I'm a professional. This is something that I do every single day. And I have a process for onboarding people. And then now I'm giving them the option. So I'm asking them, is that appropriate for you? Or where would you like to go from here? I make it binary to give them the illusion of choice. It's an illusion of choice because it's a pretty simple path. It's a yes, let's get started, or no, I have questions and concerns. That's decision question number one. We have 3 more. Any questions before we move forward here about the process so far? Feel free to unmute yourself and hit me with it. Cool. If you have, Steven, oh, no, my bad. I just saw your name pop up. Cool. So, Steve, decision question number 2. We want to do the no-framed ask. So, people feel very safe when we ask questions in a no-framed manner. Like there's safety in that. When we say yes, it's typically when we commit to things, right? Hey, a friend calls you, hey Chris, what are you doing Friday night? We're gonna go for pizza. Are you in? Like, if I say yes, now I know that I have something to do Friday night. I committed, right? So my schedule is now booked. So my typical response would be possibly, if I'm not sure, possibly, maybe, I'll let you know, right? So I want them to make them feel safe in them telling me no, but I'm gonna frame the question in a way that them telling me no actually benefits me and benefits both of us because they're gonna invest, they're gonna change their life. So what I will ask is, okay, so are you against implementing our solution so you don't have to keep having this pain and you can achieve that emotional outcome? Another question you can ask is, okay, so would it be a crazy idea for you? So would it be a crazy idea to get you started so you can achieve outcome? Or the third version is, would you be opposed to joining us so you can get the rational outcome and you can achieve the emotional outcome? So what I didn't mention is when does this decision question number 2 come? Is right after you start objection handling, because you're going to ask the decision question number 1. They're going to hit you with an objection. You will handle the objection with the framework that we saw last time in our last live. You can check it on my YouTube channel if you haven't. The recording is there under the live section. So you will do some objection handling, and then you're going to ask for the sale again. The no framed ask. we get hit with another objection here, right? So no, because of X and Y and Z. We want to move into decision question number 3. And if you notice, the further away, like the deeper we'll go, the more neutral I want to make the ask. My tonality, on the other hand, will increase in certainty. This is important. So I can avoid being hyper salesy. But I want to show them that I'm there for them. I'm not there to make it a sale. So we're going to move on to decision question number 3. It's your destiny ask. So after I do more objection handling, I'm going to lead them into a situation where I'm asking them, so what do you feel puts you in the best possible position to achieve the outcome? If you've done a good job objection handling, what they're going to say is, yes, we need to fix this problem. We need to fix this because we will keep losing money. Okay, then I'm going to ask, then does it make sense for you to get started so we can avoid those roadblocks and we can achieve X and Y and Z? Or I can say, well, if that's the case, how would you like to proceed from here? But I have to lead them into a position where they clearly see that them not taking action is much more riskier than them taking action. So that's what I achieve by asking them, what do you feel puts you in the best possible position to grow your business, to lose weight, to do this, to do that, so you can achieve the emotional outcome that you want? And they're going to say, well, I definitely need to fix this problem because I'm going to suffer those consequences. And that's where I lead them right into, well, if that's the case, how would you like to proceed so you can put yourself in the best position? Yes, I'm ready to get started. These are the 3 decision questions. These are the at least 3 asks that should be in place in every single one of your calls. And I'm going to give you a conditional one, which is a negotiation ask. So if during objection handling, you start making concessions. So this is when you're offering payment plans, or if you're selling a program, maybe you're adding a month, or you're helping them out in any way, right? You're making a concession, you're making them a better offer so they can move forward. Here's how to do that. So we don't offer it right away. As we discussed in the past in freaking negotiations, we're not going to offer anything without taking something back. I'm getting hyped up here because I see too many people just throwing payment plans and just throwing bonuses without taking anything back from the other person. That's a crime because you're adding value and you're devaluing yourself. So if we want to do that properly, we say, so if I was able to offer you this 2-month payment plan, would that help you so you don't have to postpone your growth? They're going to say yes. And here you can double confirm as well. Okay, so if I'm able to offer you that payment plan, are you ready to get started? So you can double check them there. They're going to say yes. You know, if that's the only thing, if you've isolated that properly, they're going to say yes. Then you can use, okay, so because I want to see you win, what I can do is break it up into those 2 payment plans and maybe add this extra thing so we can get to work and achieve X and Y and Z. Is that fair enough? Or does that sound reasonable? So I'm using this language in this ask because I want to introduce the reciprocity principle, right? Like I'm giving them something, I'm sweetening the deal, I'm making them a better offer, and that's why I'm asking them then, is that fair enough? Like, are we good here? And now they feel in a way obligated to move forward because you're helping them out by adding value, by removing obstacles, and by helping them get started. That summarizes the decision questions. Again, I want to be asking at least 3 times. If you're not asking for the sale at least 3 times, you're leaving money on the table. Let's open it up for questions, concerns, doubtful points, or anything else you want help with in your sales game? Ali.
Hi, Chris. So you asking the decision question, and then they hit with the objection, and you handle it, and then you do again with the decision, and you just continue in that form, or?
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh.
I'm gonna ask them the first decision question. They're gonna give me no, because I have this and this and this. Now I'm gonna start objection handling, and the objection handling always has to end, if I'm objection handling effectively, with another ask. That's how I close the loop, essentially.
Okay. And how and based on how they answer, you can see if is is it a fear or like a logistical, or how exactly can I, take them through that loop?
Yeah, it really depends what the objection is. If it's a money objection, we've talked about how we handle it. Like we
Yeah.
have to make sure that we we check that if it's a logistical, if it's a fear, before I start offering things. So I'm gonna take them through the DCA framework again. Like for that, live we have a full, we did role plays as well, if I recall correctly last time. So yeah, you just take them through, but you have to come to an agreement like that loop closes when they have to make a decision again. Otherwise, I have an objection handled effectively, right?
Yeah. Okay, I see. Because my issue here is I'm bumping in too directly on payment plans and
Yeah.
first objection and then payment plan. So yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of like your trigger in a way, right? Like
yeah.
you want to close the deal, you're offering payment plans, but again, to arrive at the point of a payment plan, like I need to first log checking some boxes, not just because it's fear, because it's better for you to structure a payment plan that, because you're a sales professional, gets you the most money rather than what works for them necessarily, right? Like even if I identify it's a logistical objection, right? I want to ask them, okay, if you did have the money, would you move forward? Yes, why? Blah blah blah. We come to that agreement. And I ask them, how do you think you can resolve that? Where you can find the money so you can? And they say, oh, there's no way I can find the money, da, 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 da. How you enter the payment plan zone is you ask them, okay, I understand. Are you comfortable having a conversation around your finances? Just in case we can make, we can come up with a payment plan that's more digestible for you. You're gonna say yes if you've done this properly. Otherwise, if they're not opening up, it's fear. So if they say, oh, I have, let's say you're selling a $10,000 thing and they have 2,000, right? Are you comfortable sharing how much you have cash on hand in case I can help? Yeah, I have 2,000. That's when I will direct them to a payment plan that gets me, let's say that 1,000, 1,500, whatever you want to take, and you structure it appropriately. Versus you going in and saying, okay, we have a payment plan that pays you $500 a month. Would that help you? Because you still had cash flow to play with and to receive.
Okay, but always that type of structure, and asking in the end of, okay, makes sense.
It's because it's not just the bigger reason is because you're taking them through the process. That's how you start harping away at their fear as well. Like if you jump into payment plan, again, you might trigger fear because first, you don't know if they have fear, but second, because you're diving right into the payment plan, you might trigger fear. Oh, this guy's gonna close me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I had a sales call today, and we went through the process and everything, and I dropped the price. I said, so in the investment needed to, to get the outcome,
Mhm.
12,000.
Yeah.
And the first he said was, can we do it on a payment plan? So when I said, okay, we can talk about it, but before we talk about it, do you feel like this, can be, could be the answer for you? And when I said that, he just shut down. He said, no, I don't know. I don't know if I have the money, and the wall just came up. So
You have to clear the noise, right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not a problem. Like, we can talk about the money. I'm not talking about the money. Let's put that aside for now. What I've just gone took you through, and I'm gonna use this exact tonality, right? Because his fear, his adrenaline is right up there right now. Like, he's boiling for adrenaline if he replied that way, right?
Mm,
So I want to use my tonality to calm him down. I say, okay, no worries. Let's put that money aside for now. Like, don't worry about the money. I don't care about the money. Based on what I walked you through, certainty. Based on what I took you through right now, do you feel that it's going to put you in a better position so you can get to the outcome?
mm,
Yes, it will. Why though? Like, why do you feel it would help?
mm,
And now he's going to start reselling himself. That's why every step of the process is important, because again, I'm shifting his perspective from I don't have the money to back to the solution. This is why I have to respect every single stage, because now he is alleviating his own fear by reselling himself into his outcome, into his goals, into the program.
makes sense.
Does that help?
A lot. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Reach out and feel free to come up with more if you have. And
Yeah, I'm just talking about what you were just both you guys talking about. First of all, it seems like that I was just a note taker.
Mhm.
I was just converting to people who are like right on board with the insurance. So that's why I texted you the other day about this close. I lost two of them last week.
Yep.
And so then I'm going to go right off at what he was just talking about, and you were just talking about the fear.
Yeah.
He said something, and then you said like, regardless of the money, what you think this could be the answer for you? Why though? And then they really go into fear. Then, well, I don't think might not work for me. So it's fear.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, that's what you were talking about. Yes, last week, and I kind of want to review that. What if they say I don't think this is the right fit? Like it's fear. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's going to work.
Yeah, let's role play a bit, and I know that you won't be able to come up with what they're gonna say necessarily, but let's role play it out, right?
Yeah, just say, well, I went to 3 different doctors.
Yeah.
Nobody could fix me. So
Mhm.
I'm real hesitant of trying this because I just spent 3 years trying to fix my back, and I just can't do it. So, and I don't have any money. It's $1,000, and I don't think so. It's actually both.
Mhm.
So it's the $1,000,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's going to work. So is that 2 objections or is that 1 objection? That's
No,
what
it's two, and it could be just one. Like, he might be able to have the money. I'm not gonna know unless I handle fear.
He's always got to handle the fear first
Absolutely.
because if you get rid of the fear, maybe he has the 1,000.
Yeah, because he's not gonna do everything he can to come up with the money. He's just telling me, I don't know, his pocket change.
Yeah, he might be a millionaire. You never know about these people.
I don't know. I have no idea what he does, right?
Right.
But if I show him that, if I help him understand that I'm the guy for you, so I don't care about the money. Would you mind sharing, based on the process that you feel I just took you through, why it wouldn't work for you if it has already worked for hundreds of my patients?
Well, like I said, I got burnt 3 different times. I'm still paying. I'm just still paying this all these shots off. It's $10,000. It didn't work.
Mhm.
So I'm just still hesitant. So that's the word, hesitant, scared. But
Yeah.
then you go by, oh, well, I helped 100 other patients. but go ahead.
No, it's so this is something that you have to arrive at first of all before with a clause. I'm gonna answer your objection, but you're gonna make your life much easier if you uncover that during the process. And how you uncover that is by asking them, okay, so before coming to me, have you worked with other chiropractors or doctors so you can fix your pain?
Yeah, that's one of the questions on the script. Yeah.
That's a question in the script. Like, yes, I've been through 100. Okay, so walk me through, like, what went wrong there?
You
Because-
stay on that question a little bit. You stay on that question a little bit.
Yeah, because that's where I'm gonna do objection handling. And the process that I will follow up there is the exact same process I'm gonna follow at the end. It's just that the close, it's just gonna take me much more time because I have to turn him around. So walk me through, like, what exactly did you do with those other doctors? Oh, we did this treatment and we did this treatment.
Right.
Okay, and did you follow through with every single one of these treatments, or did you just start and drop off? Just so I understand.
Right. Right.
Now,
right.
because now I want to see, did he follow the treatment properly and it's his fault, or were the other guys, for lack of a better term, scammers? Right?
Yes.
These are two different paths. Because she might be like, oh, I did 2 treatments and I paid 1,000 for 10 treatments. I only did 2. I still had pain. I never went back. And now this is a belief that I have to help him, help him through. Right? So if your car Richard, if your car had 4 flat tires and you just replaced one, would you go around driving your car with 3 flat tires?
Exactly.
No. Well, why not? That's what you're doing with your body, right? Like you fixed stuff like your shoulder in the first session, but you never went back. Like, wait, why? How are we going to reveal your pain, relieve your pain if you're not following through with the treatments? And I'm asking you because I'm concerned.
And then what about when you ask it, okay, before today, have you looked for any other solutions? And on that question, they say, nope.
Yeah, how come? Because
what?
How come? I'm gonna jump in. How come? Because it sounds like your pain is severe.
Okay, and then what if they say they didn't seek any other solutions and they're still scared of starting? Because they are scared. Some of these people are scared of me.
Yeah, I have to understand.
Fear.
I have to understand what are they scared of.
Okay.
Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of the future?
Fear of me.
Sorry?
Or fear of me too.
Yeah, fear of you. Or is
Yeah.
it fear of themselves that they're not going to commit? As
Okay.
we talked about, like there are 4 different fears, like fear of the past, because they failed in the past with other doctors, fear of the future. For example, if it's too invasive of an operation, is it going to leave them crippled, right? It might be an irrational fear, but some people might think that. Is it fear of you that you haven't given them enough certainty that you've helped enough people in their shoes? Or is it fear of themselves that they're not going to show up, they're not going to put in the work, or they don't deserve to be treated, or somehow they like being in pain because they receive more attention from their family?
And that's after question 1. You do question 1, handling question 2.
Yeah.
And just ask them, what do you, like you said, if this is right for you? And they say, well, I'm scared. Then you ask them, what you're scared about? Is it scared of me? Are you scared of it not working? Just ask them.
You don't have to ask them that directly. You just say, yeah, when you say you're concerned, may I ask what's your primary concern about, just in case I can help?
Just ask them, what's your primary concern? Okay.
Yeah, well, Richard, like, you can be real with me. Like, I've treated hundreds of patients just like you. What's really holding you back from?
What's your hesitation? What's
really holding you back from getting that help so we can fix your hip so you're no longer in pain? Like, you're no longer in pain during the Christmas, whatever, dinner.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I think I'm losing. That's why I texted you last week. I'm only an order taker. I got a
Yeah,
lot of people jumping on board saying, let's get started. You know what I mean?
we have to help them overcome that objection.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, go again. Make sure you're going through the DCA framework, that the recording from last week. You have to take them through that, and if you take them through that, you're already, it's what we're discussing with Ali, you're already helping them through their fear, because they start reselling themselves to your services.
Can you send me that fear stuff? Yes, because I think that's good.
I'll ping you. I'll ping you with it.
And I'll remind you. Thanks.
No, I'll message you. Cool. What else, ladies and gents?
Yeah, so I have a question. So before I started to learn the NPQ and everything, so I was that pushy salesman that pushed the deals, and when I started to implement the NPQ, I felt like I'm a little bit, like an order taker. I'm not that
Yeah,
not that killer.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
so this type of structure, how hard can you get them, if we say you get through the first decision question, the
Mhm.
objection, and you feel in the second you can close them, but when do you feel like you can just push them, or just let them tell I'm ready?
Yeah, it's not about pushing them, it's making sure, like, if you have the right pieces from the call, you create so much internal pressure inside them.
Mm.
You just go back into question number 3 after the different loops. So you build up the right emotional leverage, and you ask them, what do you feel puts you in the best possible position so you can achieve X and Y and Z? Is it doing nothing at all? Or is it taking action so you can fix X and Y and Z problems and get to the outcome? Oh no, I need to take action. Why though? Like, why not postpone it? Like, that's how I'm not pushing them for the sale, I'm pushing them for a change.
Makes sense.
If you go through my role play, I'm gonna release another live call of mine tomorrow. But if you go through my last one on my YouTube channel, with this guy, I probably asked for the sale like 5, 6 times, 7 times. But he didn't feel the pressure because of the way I was asking him and my tonality, right?
Mm.
When you're taking them through, the more questions and loops you take them through, you increase your certainty and your tone just a little bit more so they can feel your certainty passing through. But you're not gonna go from 0 for being NABQ or from being trying to do stealth conversion, stealth sales, to asking for the sale like, would it be appropriate, or where do you feel puts you in the best possible position to grow? You
Yeah.
can't go from 0 to 100, right? In the first ask, I'm gonna be pretty chill, but certain. Is that appropriate, or where would you like to go from here? Oh, I'm gonna postpone. Objection handling. So, Ali, like, is it a crazy idea to get you started so we can get to work, meet our coaches, and you can start blah, 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 blah. So I'm raising the tone a little bit. No, I'm helping him through his fear, da, 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 da. Well, Ali, like, what happens if you don't make a change? Things stay exactly where you are right now, and you keep missing out on this and this and this. And I'm asking you because I want you to win. Blah, 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 blah. Well, what do you feel puts you in the best possible position so you can achieve boom, 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 boom? Okay, so how would you like to proceed from here?
Mm.
I'll make a concession, da, 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 da. Okay, so let's do this. If I was able to offer you X and Y and Z payment plan, would that help you? So you don't have to postpone your growth. Okay, now, because I want to see you win. Now, what I can do is we can break it up, da, 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 da. Does that sound reasonable? I'm softening. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So the intensity of my tonality goes up the more I want to push them. Now, not every call, has to turn into an MMA fight, right? And this is not what I'm suggesting. It's because, you asked me, like, how hard should you push it? This depends on the person. My benchmark is I want you to ask for the sale at least, 3 times, because once you haven't done any, effort. If you ask once, and then there's zero objection handling skill behind that. If you ask twice, you've done something right, you're on the right track. But if you hear 3 no's, okay, then you have my permission to book the follow-up or see what else you can come up with, right? Because it's not for everyone. And not you won't need to, you shouldn't do, let's say, 5 closes on every single person, right? I don't want to be, whatever, offend anyone, but with women, like, I'm not going the distance for sure. Like, I'm gonna ask them 2-3 times. I'm sure maybe I'll ask them 2 times if I know that it's 100% fair. Like, I'm not gonna, for lack of a better term, like, push them around, because I know that some people just need some breathing air, and you're just gonna trigger resistance and they'll disappear. So it really depends on how you want to handle things. But again, that's why I put these principles here. This is my principle. Richard, absolutely.
So do you feel that the 2 main objections is money and fear? Or what's the other main ones?
Money, fear, or logistics?
Logistics being it's too far away, or
logistics means they don't feel that this is going to truly help them, that it's not what they're looking for, or the structure that they're looking for, or they don't have the time for it.
Other time too.
Like, they really don't have the time. Like, they're a busy CEO, whatever. You need to treat them in the next 3 weeks, 10 times, and they can only come for 1 time. And that's where you can negotiate, or, if someone sells a program and they literally can't get started until January. And that's where you can take a deposit, take the first payment, do delayed onboarding. Like, there are different things.
Thank you.
Anything else that's coming up for us?
Now I'm going to write this up, and then I think it's going to help me.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. If there's going once, give some time. Going twice. Awesome. Well, let's make sure we start deploying it so we can win more sales. And yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, these calls, the community might be a fit for you. Pretty new, very affordable compared to my one-on-one. Reach out if you want to have a chat. I'll send you the details during DMs. I don't do sales calls and stuff for that. So yeah, if you want critiques, feedback, role plays, and chat access to me, reach out. Let's have a chat, see if there's a fit here.
Yeah, I'm real interested for the first of the year with this community. I just got to save up my money.
Cool. Let's get to work, make some sales, and we're in touch. Don't worry, you're a client already. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to help. Thanks, Chris.
All right, 100%. Always pleasure to see everyone, and I'll see you next Sunday. Yeah, let me share the slides, and I'll give you 10 seconds for everyone if they want to grab them. I'll give you should have access. Yeah, you should have access. Okay. Cool. Appreciate you guys, and I'll wrap this up. Awesome. Have a good one.